by the way, Joan and Sam.
Yes.
If you have no reason to keep listening to Nashville's Morning News, I'm going to give you one. My first question to Matthew Hurtt coming up at 6:36 is going to be a really good one.
Okay.
It's going to be challenging.
Yeah.
I don't believe that he is going to be able to muster up any kind of an opinion on the question that I'm going to ask him. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Well, why don't you give us a category?
I'm not going to. No, Joan, because he's a smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
He'll figure it out what I'm going to ask him. But I'm going to ask him something that's going to throw him for a loop. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. You got to join us at 6:36. I know Sam and Joan are going to be here.
It's not going to be anything like, what'd you have for dinner last night?
Not going to be anything like that.
Okay.
I promise you that.
All right.
And by the way, when he does answer, we can all have our 30 seconds of commentary on what I'm going to ask Matthew Hurtt.
Okay.
But one of the things that I am going to ask him, we were talking about this at the tail end of the last hour, is the gubernatorial race in Virginia and the horrific text messages that have surfaced with the candidate for attorney general, a guy by the name of Jay Jones, basically talking about how he wants to, back when he was running for previous office, he wanted to assassinate his political opponent. And obviously people are freaking out about this for a number of different reasons. He also, Jay Jones, also wanted to see his political opponent's family killed as well. I mean, crazy that this guy is running to be the attorney general for the Democrat Party. And he has he apologized for this, Joan? Has he apologized for this at all?
He has.
He has actually apologized.
He also said he reached out to the opponent who he wished, the 2 bullets for his head. He reached out to him and his family. Mm-hmm. He said he's horrified about what he wrote.
Yeah, okay, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you think he's really horrified, or is he horrified that he got caught? He's horrified that he got caught.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
In the light of day, when you shine a little light on it, he probably in the moment.
It's like, I maybe could have worded that better, or maybe not at all.
Right.
Guy that wants to be the attorney general talking about assassinating his political rivals and their family.
What do they say? Sunshine is the best at
disinfectant. Sunshine is the best disinfectant, is what they say.
There you go.
So Winsome Sears now. So now the question is, Abigail Spanberger, great name, by the way, is the Democrat running for governor. And so the question now is, will this Jay Jones controversy, will this pull down her ticket, the one running for the governorship for the state of Virginia? Now, Winsome Sears is the Republican. At the end of the last hour, we played one of the commercials that is running for the Sears campaign. I found another one as well. This was on Facebook, and if you are watching on YouTube or wherever you're watching, great, you can see the audio or you can see the video. Radio, you can hear the audio, but listen to how impactful and effective this is. Need audio if I could. That is on me. All right, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Am I up? Well, for some reason, it's not playing. Stand by. I have unmuted the thing on the thing. Yeah, whippersnapper. You know what's so fun? You know what's weird? It's like the Democrats don't want us to play this. This is so bizarre. Okay, I'm going to tell you what's happening. Every time I hit play, it mutes the thing. It is weird.
You gotta hit play and then go unmute it while it's playing. So you're gonna miss a couple seconds.
All right.
But the visuals are really what's needs to be queued up on the front end.
Come on, man.
A lot of people are saying it's the Democrats' rhetoric that has led to these attacks.
Charlie Kirk shot and killed while speaking at an event.
A bomb was found under a news van.
A sniper on a nearby rooftop firing indiscriminately at the ICE facility below.
Let your rage fuel you. Let your rage fuel you.
You label someone a fascist or a racist or a Nazi, it makes you free to attack them, and that has been the ideology from the start.
Every time we hear a news story, we let it fuel us.
A Chesterfield County school board member who endorsed Abigail Spanberger said we used to be okay with shooting Nazis.
Turning Point USA made a stop at Virginia Tech in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. Protesters gathered outside of the venue.
Let your rage fuel you. Folks, this is not hard, but she is reckless and she is radical. That's who she is.
I like the end where it says, Virginia is for lovers, not rage. You know what? Let your rage fuel you. What kind of a political campaign is that? Like, I'll ask Matthew Hurtt that question because it seems so incredibly bizarre. And I like what Winsome Sear says when she says she is a radical, talking about Abigail Spanberger. And I think that if the people of Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, if they see what is going on and they're paying attention, then they will vote as such and they'll vote for Winsome Sears. But again, I will say, and I'll ask, Matthew Hurtt this question, is maybe the problem is that what Spanberger is saying, is that really how the Democrats feel? You think it is? Do you think this is how the Democrats feel? That they want your rage to fuel you? Because isn't that what we've been seeing all along? Whether it is, when I was gone in Chicago, you saw all of those ICE vehicles and they were surrounded by all of those other cars. And then come to find out, the local police, the ICE vehicles, the members of ICE, they're calling for backup, and turns out the local police declined. So we'll get to ICE and the ICE vehicles being surrounded and the local police force basically standing down, not giving ICE the backup or the protection they needed for apparently 41 minutes. We'll get into that. But first, I want to play this audio from none other than Let's Go Brandon Johnson, as he said this. You've probably heard this audio by now, but this is what he said. It may have been yesterday or the day before.
The right wing in this country wants a rematch of the Civil War. I want that to sit in right now, because the President of the United States of America has declared war on the people of Chicago and people across America.
That's right.
He's more interested in giving billions of dollars to other nations, while farmers in urban cities around this country are literally being destabilized.
So there's a lot to unpack there. There is a lot to unpack there. But the Civil War comparison, if he's going down the issue of states' rights, I would frame it like this. These states or cities are allowing federal laws to be broken, or preventing federal laws from being enforced, or allowing federal agents to be threatened and attacked. Then it is the job of the federal government to step in. But beyond all that, say Donald Trump has declared war on the people of Chicago. Fact check, not true. He's actually trying to help the people of Chicago by dealing with the evildoers. Brandon Johnson, let's just go down some of the things that he said, right? He said Donald Trump is busy giving billions of dollars to other nations. Really? Because hasn't Brandon Johnson and the state of Illinois actually spent $700 million to deal with people from other nations coming to the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago? Yes, as a matter of fact, they have. So you're talking about Donald Trump giving billions of dollars to other nations, which I don't necessarily know if that's true or not. I'm pretty sure he's all about tariffs in America first, but whatever. But Brandon Johnson and the state of Illinois has give hundreds of millions, probably billions of dollars by now, to people coming into their country from other nations. And I love how he also said that Donald Trump is trying to destabilize American cities. Isn't that rich? Because isn't that what all of this illegal immigration has done to America and these American cities? It has destabilized those cities. And it has definitely impacted the lives of the people that live in those cities, Sam.
Over the weekend, 5 people were killed. 24 others were wounded in the weekend shootings in Chicago. As of Sunday, the age range of victims from 16 to 62, according to police.
And that dovetails into some of this audio that I've got coming up.
And so whether it's the legal system, whether it's through executive order, or whether it's through the brave women and men who are serving as rapid responders, we literally have people who are volunteering in this city,
wait for it,
on the southwest side, the northwest side, all over this city, to make sure that we're protecting children from being separated from their families.
All right, here we go with the separating of children again. Is this going to be the whole ICE agents are zip-tying toddlers again? Now, if a kid is with a person who they don't know if their actual parent is the person they're with, shouldn't they be separated while they try to figure out what the heck's going on? And if a parent is a bad hombre who is going into jail with a bunch of other bad hombres, shouldn't those children be separated? Or do you want that toddler, do you want that child to be in with a bunch of adults in a jail or prison? Oh, and by the way, Obama was the original separators of children and their family. But this is what the left is having to be relegated to, is using these same tired old talking points.
And we're talking about volunteers who are literally putting themselves at risk of being shot and killed by the federal government. And so whether it's the legal system, whether it's our continuous struggle for liberation through organizing, and whether it's through executive action or whether it's through law, it would be nice if we actually had lawmakers in Washington that would actually hold this president accountable. And if they won't do it, then the city of Chicago will, using every single tool that's available to us.
They got the whole church thing going on behind it, by the way. But here's the thing. He talked about people, volunteering and risking being shot and killed by the federal government. Hey, Joan. Hey, Sam. You know how many people have been shot since Brandon Johnson took office in the city of Chicago?
A lot.
Just shot 5,000. 5,000 people.
Oh, my God.
5,000 people have been shot since Brandon Johnson took office.
And the deaths probably climbed insurmountably, and it's just nothing has gotten better.
But Civil War.
What's crazy to me is that I did not think Chicago could do worse than the human Q-tip that was Lori Lightfoot.
And, you didn't see Johnson screaming about all of those folks getting shot, did you? The 5,000 people? Did anybody see Let's Go Brandon Johnson screaming about the 5,000 people that have been shot, and over 1,000, by the way, were killed? And where was Brandon Johnson? Doing absolutely nothing. Now, you also heard him talking about how people are worried about getting shot and killed by federal authorities. Do you know how many people have been shot and killed by federal authorities in Chicago since Brandon Johnson took over? Anybody know? One person have been shot and killed by federal authorities. Dude was dragging an ICE agent by a car. Guy's name was Villegas Gonzalez. ICE stopped him and he tried to flee, and he dragged an ICE agent with his car. So the agent shot him in self-defense.
There's another one. A 30-year-old Marimar Martinez was shot by Border Patrol agent in Brighton Park after allegedly ramming a federal vehicle and driving towards the agent on foot.
Did that guy die?
No. He's in the hospital being treated for his wounds for free.
This is the one guy that got killed. And that's Brandon Johnson. This is the kind of BS that he's peddling, and the people of Chicago are dumb enough to fall for it.
He wouldn't last a day without his security detail.
Oh, absolutely not. Now, I think bottom line is what Donald Trump is trying to do. He's trying to enforce laws, and Johnson has now declared areas of Chicago ICE-free zones. Over the weekend, we're talking about this. Over the weekend, you no doubt heard about how ICE was surrounded by vehicles in Chicago. Conflicting reports about whether or not local Chicago police were told to stand down, to not heed the calls for help from ICE. And there was audio from the dispatch indicating from dispatch that they were told, local police were told not to help.
For 999, Chief of Patrol said all units clear out from there. We're not sending anybody over to that location.
All right. So the screen, by the way, computer-aided dispatch, the CAD system, also shows that the local police were told not to help the situation with ICE, not to help the people with ICE. And there's some people that are saying, well, what's going on? And you can see it on the screen where it actually says, and this is from Bill Malusian, where it says multiple law enforcement sources confirmed to Fox News that Chicago police officers were instructed by their chief of patrol to not respond to Border Patrol agents' calls for help when they were reportedly surrounded by a large crowd of protesters following a ramming incident and shooting of an armed woman. Chicago PD CAD screenshot below. And the screenshot basically says, yeah, we're not going to respond. Now, one of the things that Fox News was talking about was, okay, so maybe they were initially told not to respond. Then after 41 minutes, they did finally respond. But there was a woman, she was armed.
Yep.
She had a gun. I don't know what, she had some kind of a gun. I don't know what it was, but they shot her. She's not dead, but they shot her, and they should have shot her.
And this is, you've got Pritzker filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration. Brandon Johnson basically calling for civil war, despite the fact that his own city literally shoots itself on a daily basis. And the irony is that they're going to get sued over this.
Yep.
For leaving federal agents out to dry and ignoring the basic call of duty as Chicago PD because it came from a higher up. So the officers won't be held accountable, but whoever made the call needs to be, and the lawsuit should be egregious.
Yeah, and the guy who runs the local fraternal order of police there in Chicago, he is up in arms about all of this because he is saying that somebody is lying, and he is pointing the finger at the chief of patrol, the guy who told all of the other officers, according to the dispatcher and according to what the CAD system shows, the chief of patrol is the guy that ordered the local police to stand down and not assist those ICE officers who were surrounded by those evildoers. Joan, I think Matthew Hurtt chickened out.
See,
I think he
was afraid of your question.
I think he heard that I was going to hit him right between the eyes with really a question that I don't believe that Matthew was prepared to answer.
See, maybe you just shouldn't make the announcement that you're going to be so tough on someone before you're tough on someone.
But Joan, that is what we call a professional radio tease. Is what we do.
Huh. I'll have to check that out sometime.
At least I think that's what it is. Anyway, so we'll. Oh, by the way, Senator Marsha Blackburn is going to be joining Chris Hand during the Chris Hand broadcast coming up after the news at 9. Between 9 and 12, you know that. Turns out that deranged Jack Smith was spying on both of our senators, Senator Hagerty and Senator Marsha Blackburn. And so he'll have Senator Blackburn. I've got, by the way, that full story coming up here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matthew Hurtt joining us on the Super Text hotline, whatever it is. Hey, Matthew, how are you?
Well, it's wild in Virginia with this race. I'm sure you saw the drama over the weekend.
I did.
How are you doing, Dan?
And you know what's interesting, Matthew, is with all of that, a mole told me, Matthew, that you've got some skeletons or something going on in your closet because I heard that you were overheard in an Arlington, Virginia coffee shop talking about how much you love the new Taylor Swift album.
You know, I couldn't pick the latest Taylor Swift song out of a lineup, but the far left congressman in Arlington did hold a high dollar political fundraiser at a Taylor Swift concert one time. So
okay, very good.
The pathway to political success.
James Comey, no doubt, is if he ends up going to a federal prison, his one little disc that he'll bring will be Taylor Swift's new album. All right, real quick, we've been talking earlier about Matthew Hurtt, about the Virginia's race going on, the Commonwealth of Virginia, the governor's race. So this guy, Jay Jones, candidate for attorney general, he has made some horrific, it was text messages, and they've now come to light. He had texted someone about how he wanted to basically assassinate, and I'm not talking about politically assassinate. He wanted to reserve a couple of bullets for his political opponent and his family. I mean, this is horrifying on so many levels. This is the Democrat candidate for Attorney General, the Democrat Abigail Spanberger, who is running for the governorship for the Commonwealth. Has she said anything about this? Because clearly, and they should, they're tying Spanberger and Jay Jones together.
Dan, the timeline is much worse than you even articulated. Last week, these text messages that he sent to a Republican member of the House of Delegates in 2022 came to light, where he mused about shooting and killing the then Republican Speaker of the House, not only the Speaker of the House, but his children, in view of his wife, so that they could have a change of heart on politics. And just yesterday, it was released the information of a telephone conversation where he said, we could probably change policy if a few of these police officers out here got shot. It is absolutely insane. And the Republican current Attorney General, Jason Miyares, who's the incumbent who's running again, just dropped a $1.5 million ad buy with the most damning ad. This is insane. We are a month out from the election. It's a game changer, and Abigail Spanberger has hemmed and hawed like she has for the last 6 weeks when something comes to light. And actually, Jay Jones lost his first endorsement. Yes, 2 endorsements yesterday, the Brady Group Against Gun Violence, and then the Fraternal Order of Police, which endorsed. So we're seeing the dominoes start to fall. The end of this week, MSNBC yesterday, 2 guests on MSNBC said that he should withdraw from the race. I think the memo has gone out. They back-channeled that it's okay to throw Jay Jones overboard, but this has the potential to dramatically change the outcome of this race in the last month. We are 4 weeks out from Election Day.
Well, and here's the thing. This is clearly wrong to muse about cop killing your political opponents and their family and so forth. How is it possible that Abigail Spanberger, the Democrat, how is she hemming and hawing? How is this not... Because you know that this is now a politically toxic situation for Spanberger. She should get out there, and apparently she's not, but she should get out there and say, this is wrong, and I did not know about these text messages from Jay Jones. It is horrific, and I remove my support.
Dan, it's because the ends justify the means. We thought that Charlie Kirk was an endpoint. I don't believe so. And this is the party... The Democratic Party has many rank-and-file members who 10 years ago, I could not fathom this, but there's a suburban candidate for House of Delegates, House of Representatives in Virginia, who tweeted yesterday. She looks like a middle-aged suburban mom, and she said, I stand with Jay Jones, end of statement, period. And we did not know that the threat of violence from the mainstream Democrat Party, it has now become a plurality view among these individuals that this is okay. It is okay to muse about killing your political opponents and their children. And it is absolutely, we're in a precarious place right now.
See, Matthew, that's what I've been saying. Well, what I've been saying this morning is, and I've been kind of watching this story sort of, is that it hits really close to the mark, no pun intended, for the Democrats. I mean, this is how they feel. Violence is now okay. It goes back, Matthew, it goes back to assassination culture that we've been talking about for how long now with these Democrats. They are okay with taking out their political enemies. Winsome Sears, just real quickly, and then we'll get on to other things, but Winsome Sears, of course, the Republican in the race for governor for the Commonwealth of Virginia, I think she's taking advantage of this situation with Jay Jones pretty well. I mean, she's coming out with her own ads, correct?
She is. She's got a great ad, but the Republican Attorney General also has a great ad. What your listeners in Tennessee should know is these 3 statewide elected officials or candidates don't officially run as a ticket. And so there is variation. If you vote for governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general, there is sometimes crossover. And in 2005, there was a Democrat governor and lieutenant governor, and the attorney general was Republican. And so it is important for Winsome to tie this new scandal to her race, and I think it's appropriate to do so. They do essentially run together, even though functionally on the ballot they don't do the same. But yes, she's got a powerful ad out, and Jason Miura, as the Republican candidate for Attorney General, has an even more powerful ad.
Yeah, we played those ads earlier in the program. A couple of other things, real quick. I haven't really even covered the government shutdown today because what are we at? 7, 8? I don't know how many days it's been. But ultimately, the question is going to be asked, who will the American people hold accountable for this shutdown? Or will they just, assuming it wraps up in the next couple of days, will they even remember that the government was shut down heading into the midterm elections?
There are 2 kinds of Americans. There's Americans inside the Beltway who are going to blame Republicans, and there's Americans outside the Beltway who aren't going to remember that it happened. Everybody will get paid. This has been a slow drumbeat in Arlington, where I live, for 8 months. We've been talking about DOJ cuts. It hasn't even permeated the local press that much. And though it is disproportionately impacting many of my neighbors, and even some of my Republican committee members, I've spoken on the phone with many of my members who are furloughed, but they also understand this is political gamesmanship by Democrats, even though nationally Republicans will get blamed. And they know, again, my Republican members who are in the civil service know that they will be paid eventually, and that this is a game played by Democrats.
70% oppose the government shutdown. 65% say Democrats should accept Republicans' clean, nonpartisan continuing resolution, and so on and so forth. All right, let's talk real quickly about deranged Jack Smith and how he went in and he was effectively spying, checking out the phone records and so forth of Republican senators, kind of like what they did with those Republican organizations that we found out. And this just came to light, I think it was yesterday, where you've got, and I'm going to do a deep dive on this coming up in the next hour, but you've got Jack Smith in the investigation into Donald Trump. They also, and they did it, apparently, it looks like they did it legally through a grand jury subpoenas and all that, but they were effectively spying on or looking at the phone records of Republican senators.
Yeah, this is absolutely insane. It's something Senator Marsha Blackburn is one of the individuals who brought this to light, this Arctic Frost investigation. This is, so as a data privacy libertarian operating in the Republican Party for the last 20 years, I have always been sympathetic to skepticism of the authoritarian surveillance state. And this is one of the things that I can point to and say this is an inappropriate use of power. We elect these individuals, and then they go out and do these investigations. There are representatives in government, and this kind of spying on your political opposition, even though it may be through some appropriate channels, I think is inappropriate activity. As I've said on this show many times, Dan, government is now how you punish the people who lost the last election, or you weaponize government against the people you defeated. And this is one of those levers of power, and it is very dangerous.
Oh, and this is, pretty common for the Democrats, right? I mean, Obama's DOJ spied on journalists back during his 8 years. James Rosen, Cheryl Atkinson, the Associated Press, to name just a few. And so, to me, it doesn't come as a big surprise. It doesn't make it any better. But, knowing what we know about the Democrats specifically, this does not surprise me. And you're right. They may have gone through, I'm going to air quote this, legal means with the grand jury subpoena and so forth. But it doesn't make it right. And this does make it something that the Democrats do. All right, real quick. As far as Donald Trump, a lot of people, and we're going to talk about this, the president is intimating that he may use the Insurrection Act, and people are saying, he's going to use this eventually for martial law, and we won't have an election in 2028. That's what Gavin Newsom has been saying. What do you think about this hand-wringing by the Democrats?
You know, I live in the wildest progressive community where this is a common belief of local elected officials who all believe they have to resist Donald Trump at every turn. It is a wild Twilight Zone conspiracy. I think that President Trump is doing the right thing in some of these cities, sending in the National Guard. I actually spoke to some National Guardsmen last night on the Metro from Texas, and they have made DC is safer now, and other cities can embrace this. I think we need to revitalize America's great cities, places like Detroit, Chicago, Memphis, and other places where they used to be the economic engine of the state. And now they are a blight on the states that they are in. This is a tremendous opportunity for these states to embrace the help from the federal government, and I think they should embrace it. But unfortunately, we're in a partisan time, and Orange Man is bad.
All right, Matthew. Always great to have you on. How can people follow you on X?
I'm on X at Matthew Hurtt, MatthewHurtt.